Cacos from Blue Sky.
Yes.
You're in Argentina, but before we get started,
Okay.
tell me your symbol and what exchange are you on?
We're on a Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol BSK.
Okay. Argentina, though.
Argentina.
You have a property in Argentina. What is it about Argentina that made you say, okay, this is where we want to be? Because you're not new to it either.
No, we're not new. We have a 26-year history in Argentina through our management group, which is the Grosso Group, and we have quite an impeccable track record in that country. We've made this is our fourth major world-class discovery. Two previous that we've got, our first discovery was the Guacamayo gold mine that was put into production and run by Yamana.
That's a pretty good partner.
We discovered the Navidad silver deposit, which is the world's largest undeveloped silver deposit. And that right now is held by Pan American Silver, Ross Beatty.
Ross Beatty, yeah.
And we discovered the Chinchilla silver mine, which we, together with SSR Mining, now have put into commercial production just the last couple of months. And we're here to talk about uranium.
Yes.
Blue Sky, we have in southern Argentina uncovered not just a deposit or a piece of property, an entire district that we own it all, 145 kilometer strike length by 50 kilometers wide. It's what I call, I like to call it the Saudi Arabia of uranium. Like, this is big, this is very, very significant.
Okay, but it is uranium. Uranium is still a little soft.
Yeah, uranium is coming out of a bear market.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember in the last year, spot price of uranium has come up 50%.
Right, but is that not also with some producers holding on and not producing that they're now creating that market?
That's right, they're creating that. But we're also seeing organic growth within the industry because nuclear reactors are now becoming very popular again to generate electricity. A lot of emerging market countries are now, they don't like having to import oil and all the politics that goes with that. They look
and coal, of course.
And coal, in the last decade or two, we've seen the price of building these reactors come down, the time frame to build them become cheaper. And quite frankly, uranium has no carbon footprint. It's reliable, it's the most efficient form of electricity generation, and it's being recognized today around the world.
Okay, but where specifically is that market? We know that there's a market in the United States, and it appears that there's an emerging market in China and India. Where is the future as far as uranium consumption is concerned?
Well, yes, China is definitely a big driver. I think there's 71 nuclear reactors in construction globally right now, and about half of those are in China and in India. But we're seeing them even in places like the Emirates. In Emirates, of all places, right?
Yeah.
Building them because it is effective, it's efficient, and a lot of other in Africa they're becoming more popular, and Argentina. Argentina has 3 nuclear reactors producing right now. They have another one that they're building and 2 more that are being commissioned. And they're doing this, again, to get away from the politics of having to import oil and having to use dollars to acquire it. And they're doing it to also abide to reduce their own pollution and carbon footprint in that country.
So what else has happened though in the uranium market? Because there was a tremendous fear about it at one point. Nuclear energy, I'm not so sure. The downside of an incident, but that concern seems to literally be melting away in light of a desire to create a greener series or greener sources of energy production.
Correct. You're correct. But I think what's happening is they're not doing that just to find an alternative source of energy. I think the safety record for uranium is the most dangerous thing about it is just the fear itself. I think if they used electricity when they first discovered it to electrocute people, I think people would be terrified by electricity. And they used uranium to build nuclear bombs. And I think there's been a big fear that's generated into the population, and it's not unfounded. But when you look at the real track record, take Fukushima. People call it a nuclear disaster. Well, no one was killed by nuclear radiation fallout. People were killed by the earthquake. People were killed by the tsunami. And that reactor, by the way, should never have been in production. in working order right now. It was old, it should have been decommissioned a long time ago. Another reactor further back, nothing happened there.
Right. So you're saying the technology is creating this sense that this is a reliable source of energy production. Well, look, and I know that Dr. Patrick Moore, who is one of the founders of Greenpeace, is actually saying if you have a concern about carbon, which he dismisses that a little bit too, different topic, different day.
Yeah.
But he says the answer lies in nuclear. And so when you have somebody of that stature getting behind this, it says so much about where we're going to go with the green economy.
Bill Gates. Just check out his website. You'll see he talks about nuclear energy as the way for poorer countries, emerging countries, to get out of poverty. And it's saying it has a major role to play there.
So let's go back to this massive, the Saudi Arabia of uranium project. Where are we at right now in its life cycle? Moving towards developing the property?
Right now, we just a few days ago published the first PEA, or preliminary economic assessment. So, because the area of the property is so huge, and we've done work throughout this entire project, we've decided in the last year and a half to focus on the southern portion of the property first.
Okay.
And last year, just around this time, we established our first resource there, 43-101 resource.
Okay.
And then we spent the next year basically saying, okay, we have this resource, which is now stands at about 23 million pounds and 11 million pounds of vanadium. There's a significant vanadium content there, and we can get to that.
Yeah.
So now we put out an economic study that says this thing, if it was production today, would make money today.
Today. At current prices.
At current prices. Our costs, all-in sustaining costs, are just over $18 a pound. And the contract price average out there in the market is between $50 and $60. There's a lot of margin there.
Yeah.
But that's what the exciting thing about it is, that this 23 million pounds over this entire district has the potential to become 100 million pounds. It'd be no different than what they have in Kazakhstan, an Inkai deposit, 100 million pound deposit. Again, producing at around, well, a little bit higher cost than where we are at. There are other examples around the world. The setting, it sits right at surface. The first 25 meters in the surface. And the ground, there's no blasting. Excavator, and you leach it. Like, it doesn't get simpler in terms of cost. So this has truly got the potential to be one of the largest and lowest cost uranium deposits in the world. And that's what really excites me. And that's why we've been putting our own money, management, you try to find out somebody in the last few years to put money in a uranium company, exploration, they're rare if you do find them.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah. So we've been funding it ourselves.
Yeah.
So management right now, and our friends and family, they own about over 60% of the company. So, and the money we put in, we spend it, make sure we spend it on the right thing down there. And now our goal is to grow this deposit over the next 6 months, because we'd like to become Argentina's first domestic source of uranium supply.
So would you develop it on your own, or are you going to be looking for a partner?
Well, we can expand it on our own. We have a track record in the team and expertise to do all the way up to feasibility study.
Yeah.
To go into production, if we had to, we do it on our own. But we also recognize that production is a different business than exploration. So by all means, we would look to see if we could import some external expertise there, and maybe partner up with somebody, or whatever would be best return for shareholders.
So let's talk a little bit about Argentina as a mining jurisdiction.
Sure.
How stable is it?
Argentina we've been there for 26 years. Classic case. If you listen to everything the politicians say, signal, it's like driving. Always signaling they're going to turn left, turn right, but they turn the other way, right? Argentina is a great place for many reasons. Geologically, there's so much potential in that country. 8th largest country in the world, and until 25 years ago, never been explored. So there's a lot of low-lying fruit to harvest there, and that's what we've been doing. Politically, the country right now is run like a company. President Macri is a businessman, and he's got a mandate to eliminate red tape, eliminate regulations, and he's also recognizing to promote mining to become and grow and become a more important part of their economy. And in the 26 years that we've been there, we've never had a permit denied, never had a community say don't do it. We've never had anything, any problems in Argentina. Love working in that country.
Last question here. So what would access to market be? What's the infrastructure like that allows you to get product out of the ground and to the market that wants it?
Well, we can get it out of the ground. There's 20 kilometers away, there's the town of Belchetta. There's a pool of people we can draw in for workers. There's a high power line there. There's a railway line there. We're about 55 kilometers from a deep sea port. Mm-hmm. All the infrastructure, it's perfect. Right. And it's a flat lying area, very flat Patagonia. Less populated, less densely populated than Siberia.
So when you come out of there by ship, it's not too much around and India and China are just across the Atlantic.
That's right. I mean, we're getting a lot of major companies knocking on our door. There's not been a lot of exploration in uranium space, but this is something we know that's been truly spectacular. And I think the larger producing companies are looking at us, but not yet. It's too early. I think this has a long way to go.
Well, it sounds like a pretty exciting opportunity, and I have to admit, I was not thinking about Argentina uranium, especially at this time. But this is fascinating to learn. I wish you all the best of luck with this, and thanks for coming and sharing that with us.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.